over who had sent over information for Mr. Scotch and his wonderful initiative, and specifically all the great work that he's done within the realm of kidney donation. So we looked at his website and the tremendous work that he's done and his personal journey, which he will for sure tell us about in his talk. And yeah, we're very happy for him to come and introduce this very special topic to us. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Aaron. Okay, I hope people notice that the recording sign is on and don't mind that that is on. Yeah, I'm very happy to introduce Mark Scotch, the Oregon Trail Kidney Donation Journey, the Oregon Trail Kidney Donation Journey, Mark Scotch.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Toastmaster Ben especially, and Karen, and Aaron, and Jacob. You did a great job on your talk. That was fantastic. I'm going to try and share my screen here. So let me know how it looks. Do I have it? Am I shared? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'll go full screen. And this is something I want to start with quickly. This is taken from an abandoned fire tower on the highest point in Wisconsin. And I say Wisconsin or Canada because this point happens to be the end of the glacier. So I always tell people that I grew up actually on Canada, not in Canada, but on Canada, because it's the highest point in the state and it's very tranquil, as we can tell. And it's just a big pile of gravel that's been pushed down from the glacier from Canada. So with that, I will start my talk. A little bit about me. Again, grew up in Wisconsin, still live here. Got 3 grown boys, 3 grandkids. I started becoming more active in my life in my mid-40s. I was very active in high school and stuff like that. But once you start a family, things kind of slow down. My activity level was coaching Little League for quite a while. So then I started cross-country skiing because I live in Wisconsin. Summertime, I did rollerblading, got into canoeing and kayaking. As a matter of fact, I've been up to Canada, I don't know, 8 or 9 times on different canoe and kayaking trips over the years. Went in James Bay twice, Lake Winnebago once, or not Lake Winnebago, Lake Winnipeg once. And I started mountain biking quite a bit. And a couple of years ago, at age 64, less than 2 years ago, actually, I donated a kidney. And it came about rather interestingly. I never was thinking about it. Although my sister-in-law donated 12 years previous, I never asked her any questions, was never curious about it. But somehow that seed must have been planted. Because on our way to Texas one winter, my wife and I leave Wisconsin, typical, snowbird activity. We were down in Texas, or going to Texas, and we stopped in Louisiana at a microbrewery, met this guy named Hugh Smith, talked to him for a while. He got up to go home, and I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Well, I got to go home." And I kind of pressed him a little bit. Found out he was going home to go on dialysis. He went on dialysis every night for 10 hours. He was in stage 5 renal failure, meaning his kidneys were not working. He had damaged his kidneys, basically self-induced from taking too much ibuprofen when he was a jockey. So young people, be careful with ibuprofen. It can do some bad things. So in the course of the conversation, when he told me all this, he said, "I'm looking for a kidney." And I just immediately said, "I'll give you one of mine." And I have no idea where that came from. I just did it. My wife looked at me a little funny, but it was just something that I felt at the time was the right thing to do. So I donated on September 30th of 2020 to the National Kidney Registry. Now, some of this stuff is going to be specific to the states, but I'll try and wrap it up at the end and give you more Canadian information. I use what's called a voucher program. Up in Canada, I believe they would maybe call it an offshoot of what's called the paired exchange. But what that did, after I got evaluated and passed physically that I could become a donor, that I could live on one kidney, that's really what it comes down to. My kidney went to New York. It didn't go to this guy. We didn't even worry about a match because through the voucher program, my kidney and my surgery was separated from Hugh. So my kidney went to New York. When Hugh was ready, about 6 months later, he got a kidney and it came from Southern California. So if you think about it, a guy from Wisconsin meets a guy in Louisiana, one kidney goes to New York, the other kidney comes from California. So I don't know, we pretty much covered the whole nation. What this paired exchange or even a voucher program can do specifically is both recipients, the person that got my kidney and Hugh, got the best match possible. This is very critical when it comes to organ rejection and the amount of drugs someone has to take. So I tried to change these facts a little bit to comply with Canadian information, but I couldn't find some things. So I'm going to go on some of the stuff I found in the US. And I found out down here, and I assume it's similar in Canada, that 1 out of 750 people are actually born with one kidney. Most of them don't even know it. I've met a number of people in the last 18 months who told me that they were born with one kidney. One guy didn't know it until he was 60 years old. He went in for something totally unrelated, found out he had only one kidney, lived a completely normal life without even knowing it. And I always thought that people that needed a kidney just got one from somewhere, and I didn't know where. I assumed it was from the deceased kidneys. Down here in the States, we can designate on our driver's license that we're a deceased donor, and if something should happen, our organs can be used. But I didn't know that only 3 out of 1,000 people die in such a way that their organs can actually be used. It's a very low number. There's reasons for that. Basically, a person has to die in the hospital, typically head injuries. Up in Canada, 8 people die every month, from what I found out, waiting for a kidney transplant. So they're physically healthy, except for a kidney, and there's many people that can become living donors that could save their life. Down here in the United States, it's 13 people every day. And that fact I decided to do something more than just donate a kidney. Up in Canada right now, 3,100 people, I have an extra 0 in there, sorry, are on the Canadian wait list, waiting for a kidney. Out of those 3,100, 8 are going to die every month. So what's the organ trail? Well, the organ trail is a story of my kidney donation and also the advocacy efforts that my wife, Lynn, and I put forth. Basically, if you can think about it, if I had another kidney, I would donate again, but I can't. So this is kind of what I'm doing instead. So why do I ride? So we created the organ trail as a way to inform people of the things that Lynn and I learned. When I was going through my own donation, I learned so many things that I just didn't know. And I thought there's got to be many people out there that are in the same boat I was in. So we dispelled this about donation. Some people still think you have to match blood and tissue to be a donor. In a roundabout way, that's true. But with the big pools nowadays, anybody can donate and they'll find a match for a kidney, no matter where it comes from. So back, not that long ago, you did have to become a match for that specific person. But we're not talking about matching for one person. We're talking about matching for maybe somebody thousands of miles from you. So we're just trying to share the knowledge of the latest updates concerning kidney transplants. Down here in the States, something that's pretty new is called a voucher program. I don't think it's available in Canada, but it would be similar to what's called a paired exchange up in Canada. The voucher program is just a little bit of a hybrid that makes it easier to become a donor. Then, of course, the bicycle rides demonstrate after donation functionality. What does that mean? It means that you can donate a kidney and go back to your normal life. And what's normal? Normal for me was doing some strange things. So all in all, what I try to do on the ride is create media attention to be able to tell these facts, the story. And up on the left there, that's Hugh Smith. We're at a radio station doing a joint interview down in Louisiana. Top right was taken just a few weeks ago, actually, in Albuquerque with a person that Pat O'Brien, he actually is on dialysis right now looking for a kidney. So on my rides, I try to get people that need a kidney to join me for these media events so they can get their story out. Bottom left, another thing I do is I contact a lot of politicians. Politicians create media attention. They have their own media staff. So we try to get the word out that there's an urgent, dire need for donors. They're very receptive to come out to an event we're doing and be part of that and help us with the media. Bottom right is something called Humankind. I'll get into that in a couple minutes, but it's basically USA Today followed my ride from Wisconsin to Louisiana, and that was the first ride, the Oregon Trail 1.0. After my surgery, 7 months after my surgery, I rode my bicycle. It's a mountain bike. I don't have a road bike even, so I use a mountain bike. And I followed the Mississippi River as close as I could. A lot of times I was on what's called levee trails, levee roads. I was on dirt, I was on pavement, I was on rocks. And about 1,500 miles from Madison to Hugh's hometown of Natchitoches, Louisiana. Took about 3 weeks. We stopped all along the way. We got about maybe 30 different media events from this ride. So some of the highlights, my wife follows along in our car up on the top left. She's what I call my support vehicle. If I have a flat or breakdown, if I need to get somewhere to be interviewed, she can pick me up, get me there if that's needed, then take me back to where she picked me up and I'll start riding again. Friends of ours followed us along in their motorhome and they had a trailer. We put a little sign on the back of the trailer. Top right is when we came through St. Louis, you can see the arch in the background. Bottom right is the microbrewery we reenacted when Hugh and I first met, and my wife Lynn. We reenacted that setting, if you will, on this ride. So the USA Today Humankind was kind of an interesting thing. They got wind of the ride, they followed me, created a little video, and then last fall, they had a national competition. They had 11 different categories. One of the categories was Triumph of the Year. And that was an event that people called in as a vote. So I won the most votes for that category. So we leveraged that when we talked to TV or newspapers or radio to give the trip, the whole effort, some credibility. Oregon Trail 2.0 was last fall. I went from Martha's Vineyard to my home in Wisconsin. Originally, I was going to go to Niagara Falls and then go through Canada and come back into the US, but COVID did not allow that. So I ended up going south through Cleveland. Again, same thing, just create media attention. Lisa helped me with some of the events in New York. When I was in New York, she's from New York. So that worked out really well. We got about 70 to 80 different media events from this ride. I was doing sometimes 3, 4, or 5 interviews a day, and it's all about trying to basically share knowledge, educate people, just try to have more of the public understand what's going on with kidney transplant and organ transplant in general. So the highlights of that ride, our grandkids, we have 2 of them. Top left is Jason, he's in 7th grade, and our granddaughter in the middle top, Alyssa, she's in 2nd grade. We were able to go to their schools and go through the parking lot, and all the kids made little signs, go Alyssa's grandpa, things like that. It was really cute. And then I spoke at Jason's class. That's the bottom right, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. We made it age appropriate, and there's about 450 students there. So we just try to get people thinking about doing something good for somebody else. What can you do that's good for people? How can you help somebody? So it's the same thing with the proclamations and things like that. Top right, that's in Cleveland Clinic. Met a doctor, come out, talked, did a little presser for the Cleveland Clinic. They put it on their Facebook page, Twitter. We used it, again, just to get more of the message out. Oregon Trail 3.0 and 3.5 are 2 races that I've done in the past. And they're winter races. I live in Wisconsin, so they're fat bike races. I don't know if you guys know about fat bikes. They're 5-inch wheels or so. One is from International Falls, goes south. That's about 135 miles. It's been rated one of the 50 toughest races in the United States at one time. typically because of the temperature. The other one is called the Tuscobia 160, and that is more of a, you can ski them, bike them, or do them on foot. But it was -20 this last winter when I did that one. So the Oregon Trail 4.0, I just did this spring. This ride went from San Diego to Lubbock, Texas. Again, same thing, just creating awareness. Went to USC, went to UCLA, went to UC Irvine, Albuquerque, and Phoenix. Ride coming up is going to be next year, March, from Lubbock, and I'm going to finish the ride to New Orleans. That retraces the kidney from Southern California to Louisiana. So that's what I was talking about before, north, south, east, west. Again, Mark Scott, you can go to my website or Facebook page to learn more. I think you guys, some of you already checked me out, it sounds like, so that's great. Up in Canada, we have a woman named Rachel Benzler. She's part of our NKDO group, and I'll put her email address on the comments, but the NKDO is National Kidney Donation Organization. And what we do, and Lisa's part of it, I'm part of it. We help donors go through the process. We're all donors. We've all been there. Some of us very recently. So we just try to mentor people through the process. In Canada specifically, you can go to this site to learn more about transplant in Canada. NKDO again, you can go to NKDO, and although it's a United States organization, you can definitely get assigned a mentor and learn more about how to do the process up in Canada, or anybody. I say you. When I say you, I mean specifically anybody that you might come in contact with. Not everybody can be a living donor. Not everybody does that, but if people can learn more through course of conversation, I think this information can be passed on, and I think we can affect the fact that up in Canada anyway, 8 people are dying every month. Sorry. So, facts about kidney transplant. Again, living donor can save someone's life, literally. You save someone's life, and within 2 weeks, you're back to a normal life. You don't have to be a match. You don't even need to know the recipient. There's altruistic donation. If I would ever need a kidney, or anybody that is a donor would ever need a kidney, we would be given top priority to get a kidney. NKR has been around for, I think, around 10 years or so. I think they've been through 5,000 or more surgeries. I don't think anybody's ever needed a kidney that donated through NKR. Now that's just NKR. There's different organizations in the States. No cost to the donor, back to work in weeks. You can return to our normal lifestyle. Normal for me was what I'm talking about, doing a lot of biking, being very active. Strenuous lifestyle. This is the club that Lisa started down in the States, Kidney Stories Club, and this is where we talk about this and other topics. So if anybody's interested, that's something you can join us if you choose to. That's it. I'll take any questions at this time.
Thank you so much, Mark. Very inspirational. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, so anyone have any questions for Mark? I did have, okay. Yeah, Karen, please go ahead.
What's the youngest and the oldest age of donors?
I've heard of people donating around 21 or so. I know people have tried to donate at 18, but they typically don't like that so much. I don't think there's any hard and fast rules. Every transplant facility, every hospital that does these kind of have their own. The problem with donating young is that sometimes people are, you're not fully developed yet sometimes, and they just prefer older people in their 40s or 50s because if there's a chance of kidney disease, it usually shows up by then. Not that young people can't, but they're very cautious with that. And they ask a lot of questions, and they try to get people very informed. The oldest one I've heard is like 73. Again, that is facility specific. for example, I went to Madison, Wisconsin. They take people, they don't really have an age limit. It depends on their health more than anything. But the hospitals that do a lot of transplants will do some of the riskier ones. So that might be considered risky if it's a certain age. So it really depends on the transplant facility.
Thanks. Jacob, I think you also had a question.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the question. You seem to spend a lot of time. Is this like a full-time job or more than a full-time job?
Well, I think biking is my full-time job. And it just seemed like a really good fit for me personally. I do this kind of stuff anyway, so it fit in really well with my lifestyle. Matter of fact, when I had a full-time job, I worked in paper mills. I went to paper mills up in Canada even. I used to go up to Canada and sell equipment to paper mills. I'd bring my bicycle with me just to get bike time in, or my kayak or whatever I had at the time. So to answer your question, yes, it takes a lot of my time, but I enjoy it immensely. I love putting the routes together. I love talking to people about it. I don't have any problem calling up Mayo Clinic in Phoenix and talking to them about this because I come from a sales background. I'm used to talking to people. I don't try to be perfect. I don't, Toastmasters, you try to be very good at what you do. I found out sometimes too polished can be a problem. So I'm conscious of it, but I try to incorporate whatever I'm doing in my life. And so this fit in. It wasn't planned at all. Don't get that idea, but it just, once I made a decision, when I met Hugh, I knew I'd be going down to Louisiana many times because he was registered at a facility in Shreveport. So I started talking to them before I knew about this voucher thing. I had no idea about the voucher thing. So I was going to be going to Shreveport, Louisiana from Wisconsin many, many, many times to get this accomplished. So I started putting rides together as for all the trips we're going to take down there. I thought, well, I'll end up doing the whole river probably at different segments. So I had the ride already kind of figured out when I heard about the voucher program that told me I didn't have to go to Shreveport. I could stay in Madison and do it. Then when I read 13 People Die Every Day, it's like, man, how many other people don't know this? And I already have the ride figured out. So it's like, hey, I'll just do the ride and just try to get media. And that's how it started.
Works really well. Thank you.
David and Jacob, I think you had your hands up.
Jacob can go first because he had his hand up first.
Sure. Thank you. Mark, beautiful speech and appreciate the work that you're doing. My question revolves around the Oregon trails. Which one was your favorite and why?
Well, it's not over yet. I got one more to do, so I really can't answer that question. There's different parts of it. I like it all. Just like when I ride mountain bike, people, I've been on 40 different single track. I've been on different single track trails in 40 different states, including Canada, including Ireland, Hawaii, Alaska. People say, what kind of like riding do you do the best? It's all good to me. It's just, I like the variety actually more than anything. So every ride had its own thing. The first ride was going to see Hugh he was off dialysis. I was on one kidney. The goal of that was to just do it. I didn't want to fail. I thought I had visions of what if I can't do this? What if my other kidney starts giving me trouble? So that the goal of that was just to do it, just to get down there, see Hugh. Second ride was, I knew it was going to be a media nightmare because there's so much opportunity for media on the second ride. I was really disappointed I couldn't get into Canada. I put it off and put it off. I started to get pressure from other people because we couldn't plan it beyond Niagara Falls. And I waited till the very last second and before I just had to bite the bullet and go south. So I was really looking forward to, I was going to take the ferry across. If you go up past Niagara Falls, there's a peninsula. You can take a ferry to another peninsula and I'd be going up to Thunder Bay. I had it all figured out. It would have been fun. And the third ride that was the most strenuous because I had 2 days of desert crossing from California into Arizona. One day it got up to 100 degrees, just had a freak heat wave. Second day was in the low 90s. I was going through, there was areas I couldn't go through with sand. I had to walk. The sand was so deep. It was very hot, very warm. But I've done this kind of thing before, so I felt comfortable on the bike with water and all that. And then, of course, out of Phoenix, there was a 2-day ride. I went from about 1,100 feet elevation to around almost 8,000, 7,000 some feet in 2 days. So there's a ton of climbing. So that was the challenge on that ride.
My legs hurt just hearing that. Maybe we'll take one more question from David.
Hi. No, I want to thank you, Mark, for your speech, and I find it very admirable what you do. But one of my questions was, most people who, you know, do the transplant and have their kidney removed, what is, like, I saw some pictures of you, like, you know, drinking, I guess, having a normal lifestyle, but do most people really drastically switch their diet after?
They find that people that donate kidney typically are healthier than the average person. Well, it's kind of misleading, I think, in a sense, because the only way you're going to be able to donate a kidney is you have to be healthy to start with. So that said, a lot of people, after they donate a kidney, they get very health conscious because we just understand how fragile health is. We see people that need a kidney, you know, like Hugh on dialysis every night for 10 hours. You know, figure about, you know, us with normal lifestyle, we even have a hard time thinking about that. So typically people that donate end up cherishing their health quite a bit. And they understand the fine line. Through no fault of our own, we could have a kidney problem. So a lot of people that I know go to the vegetarian or vegan lifestyle after they donate, because I don't want to get too deep on it, but the kidney has to work a little harder to filter proteins, animal protein. So they'll protect their kidney by doing a vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. For me, at 66 years old, I'm not too concerned about it, but I'm still concerned about it. And I met Hugh in a bar having a beer. I mean, you know, what the heck? Enough said.
Thank you for answering my question. Sorry, one last thing I want to say. Have you heard this saying? So I was watching a video the other day, and this person in the video, his name's Liver King, different from kidney, but he said what he had mentioned is that he heard people who donate organs, that once they donate organs, those people sometimes take the personality traits of the person. Have you heard of that? Like,
Yes, I have. People that have never liked pizza all of a sudden crave pizza or something like that. It's been known to happen. I don't know who got my kidney. I'm trying to find out. I'm curious to see what they might be picking up. But yes, it does seem to have something to do with, there is something there.
maybe they're riding their bike every day now.
Yeah. When that was a joke when Hugh wanted my kidney really bad. He's like, this is meant to be. I said, no, it's meant to be that you're going to get the best kidney, dude. And this voucher program is going to provide you with the best kidney. And my kidney is going to go to the best person. So he goes, no, I want your kidney. I said, well, do you want to ride bike every day like I'm doing? He goes, no. I said, well, then.
Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, guys. This is great. Thank you very much. And I will turn off the recording now. And I should have maybe turned it off before the questions, but is everybody okay with sharing this? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. And